Hey, everybody, it's comedian Brad Williams, and you're listening to Jim on Bass, because where else would he be?
Hey, it's Ryan from the Jim on Base Show, the podcast that brings you closer to your favorite athletes and entertainers. And I want to give a huge shout out to my friends at Claim to Fame. They have some of the best jackets out there that I love to wear. You can rock them for date night, a casual outing with friends, or even while doing a podcast. They're lightweight, they're durable, and perfect for any setting. My favorites are the dark blue, the olive shade, and if you want to switch things up and go for a lighter color, one of my favorite go-tos is the Pacific blue. So check them out at claimtofame.com for all their different styles. So make sure you click the link so the next time you step out, you'll be feeling good with Claim to Fame. Welcome back to another episode of the Jim on Base Show. For today's very special guest, we have one of my favorite comedians. His latest special is entitled Starfish and it can be streamed. Can that be streamed on YouTube or everywhere? I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, and I think everyone has YouTube. If you don't have YouTube, you're probably not listening to this podcast. So I think we're good to go. I think we have all our bases covered. Get it? Bases, Jim? Oh, I'm hilarious. All right, but happy to be here, Jim.
Yeah, so with no further ado, there it is, the great comedian, the great Brad Williams. Brad, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man, thank you. It's weird what kind of podcasts I will respond to. Yours, I did, and I said you were friendly about it. There's a lot there's a lot of people that hit me up online, and when they ask me to come on their podcast, then if I say I'm busy, they're like, the tone is just very, you have to do this, and it's like, no, I don't. I got a wife, I got a kid, now I have two dogs, we just got one. Yeah, so I'm busy, but you were very friendly and very cool, and you've had some great people on it. And I can't let. I saw your list and of your guests, and I was like, I can't turn this guy down when he said these people. Now I'm an asshole, and I don't want to be an asshole, Jim. I really don't.
Well, usually, like, to get those people, though, I had to threaten them. So,
That's how it works.
You got to start somewhere.
Starts off with threats and then just goes on. Well, good. I'm glad I got the tail end of that. That you don't want to threaten a dwarf. You don't get your wish.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm trying to have good karma.
Good.
Well, I was going to ask, you're from the SoCal area, but now your kind of home base is in Denver, right?
So everyone thinks I live in Denver, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with people thinking I live in Denver. I don't. But I'm a Broncos fan. I'm a diehard Broncos fan. Hashtag Bo knows football. Hashtag Bo Lever. Hashtag eat a bag of Knicks. Okay. And I go to games throughout the year, so everyone just kind of assumes I live in Denver. I don't. I'm still in the Southern California area. SoCal kid through and through. You can't get me out of this place. I don't care how high the taxes go. I'll figure out a way to pay them. I'll start an OnlyFans. I'll do whatever I got to do. But yeah, but a lot of people think I live in Denver, and I'm totally fine with everyone not knowing exactly where I live.
Well, that sounds good. It makes it hard to threaten people that way for me,
Very much so. It's weird because now I'll get emails from people that want me to join a side of like Denver politics. I'm like, nope, doesn't affect me. Don't care. Don't care what your rents are. I got fires to deal with over here.
Well, it makes me think, how did the whole Broncos Nuggets fan, how did that all start for you then?
Yeah, so I'm a Broncos fan, as the joke goes, because my dad went to Stanford, and he wanted us to support a Stanford-led team, and that gave us two options. That was John Elway with the Broncos or Jim Plunkett with the Raiders. And I don't have face tattoos or priors, so that means John Elway with the Broncos, and then that's how it started. And as many of your listeners know, once you have a team, that's your team. That is your team. It's really weird how fast you can get rid of boyfriends, girlfriends, marriages. You cannot talk to children anymore. But God forbid you're born a Jets fan. You're a Jets fan for 30 years, and then you wake up one day. You go, why the fuck am I doing this to myself? I'm gonna be a Ravens fan, and then you switch. Now everyone's looking at you like you're an insane person. But that's how it is. So they are my team. I enjoy going to some Rams games because that's the nearest football stadium to me. But for the most part, yeah, I love live and die with the Broncos. The Nuggets, I'm born and raised a Lakers fan. But the Nuggets have been really nice to me because, kind of like we talked about earlier, a lot of people think I live in Denver. So the Nuggets recently rolled out the red carpet for me, had me be like the fan of the game. I do a shot before the game. I bang a big drum. I get everyone hyped up, and everyone's like, "It's local, Brad Williams." I'm like, "I'm not, but okay." They were really nice to me. Jokic even saw me on the sideline, gave me a fist bump. His hands are huge. I think he just gave me a fist bump because I was wearing his jersey, and at my size, he probably thought I was a Make-A-Wish kid. Um, He's like, he's gonna die soon. I should give him a fist bump. There you go. But it was an exciting time. The Nuggets were really nice to me, and if they ever want me back, no problem. Like my loyalties can be bought.
Oh, that's great. Because yeah, I saw that the other day. You were doing, I think, pre and post game interviews for the Nuggets. You were doing it.
Yeah. And thankfully, I like sports, and I'm into sports. And I'm not just like, oh, the tall guy puts the thing in the thing. Like it's like, no, I know a little bit about it, and I'm not completely brain dead. But I'm also not that. I'm very proud of this. I'm not a fan where if the Broncos lose, my wife and kid have to be like, ooh. Broncos lost today, so we got to walk on eggshells around daddy. It's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It sucks. I'll be kind of sad, but if the kid wants to play, we'll play, and I'll have a huge smile on my face. So that's the part about being a sports fan I'm the most proud of is that I don't take it too
Hmm.
seriously.
Yeah, you're not hitting the bottle too hard, you know.
No. That I get drunk way too quickly. Look at me.
I
I
was
like
wondering about that. Is that true? Because less.
yeah, I do. My nickname in college was Two Beer Brad. I mean, it saved me a ton of money. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. But it's like sometimes you take a flight and they offer you those little tiny bottles of alcohol, and I'm like, oh, it's about to be a party because I like so, it's weird. Some guys I see them, they grab like three of those whiskey bottles or something, and I have one, and I'm like, I'm feeling fine. The oxygen up there is really help helping me feel good about myself. So yeah, I'm a cheap date, which is kind of that helps. It helps.
Well, it makes me wonder when you're getting some invites to cool games, are you living the sweet life these days? Or are you in the seats? Or
I'm in the seats, man.
mm.
I'm not a sweet guy yet. Hey, if someone has a suite and they are inviting me to it, I'm not gonna turn you down. One of the coolest things I've ever done in my life was I performed. So this is when my wife was 8 months pregnant, so could pop any day, and I got asked to go perform at the Christmas party for the John Elway car dealerships. They
Mm.
have a big Christmas party every year. And I asked them, like, is John going to be there? And they're like, yeah, he's here every year. And I'm like, well, that's my childhood hero. Yes, I'm there. They're like, we haven't negotiated payment yet. I'm like, don't care. Is John there? Is he bringing the teeth? Yes. Okay, I'm coming. So I performed for the party, and John loved it and asked me what I was doing the next day. And I go, well, I'm going home. And he goes, oh, I was going to invite you to the Bronco game. And I
Wow.
and I was like, hold on. And called the wife and was like, hey, you're 8.5 months pregnant, but John always just invited me to the Bronco game. I'd like to stay another day if that's okay with you. And my wife, thankfully, this is one reason, many reasons why I love her, was like, yeah, that's your hero. Go. So I stayed an extra day. I watched the game from John Elway's suite and
Wow.
with him, and that was that. Like you talked, I made the joke earlier, but you talk Make a Wish stuff. That's like an all time memory for me.
Mm.
So to do that was freaking awesome. So yeah, I'm in the seats, but if anyone invites me to a suite, I'm happy. Or like, if you want me to tell jokes and that's how I get invited into the suite, done. I will dance for my supper. I don't care.
Oh, that's an awesome memory there because I actually got to meet John Elway in Tahoe at that celebrity golf tournament. Got to interview him, and he was super
Oh,
cool.
you a-hole. I want to go to that tournament so bad. I love that I said fuck earlier and then I said a-hole. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't say the word ass. It's too anyway. But that tournament, man, what a time that is.
Yeah. Surreal.
It looks amazing. You have guys like Bill Murray and Ray Romano are always up there. Of course, all the athletes. I'm trying to put some golf stuff out there so whoever runs that tournament can be like, yeah, we haven't had Dinklage keeps turning us down. Let's get Brad Williams to come out and play in this thing. That's what I want.
Well, I'll see what I can do. All right, I'll put some whispers out there.
Please do.
Well, I am curious because I'm not the tallest guy in the world. I'm a fellow, what do they say, short king these days. So
Sure.
how do you do the seat thing? Because for me, every time I'm at a concert, the band right before they come out, some asshole that's 6'3" shifts over with a big hat and curly hair stands in
Yeah.
front of me. So how do you do it?
No, I don't do general admission anymore. That's for sure. Yeah, like someone's like, "Hey, I got floor seats." I'm like, "No, I hate
Yeah.
floor seats. If I have floor seats, I'm staring at the back of some asshole's neck
Yeah.
for like the whole concert." So I do on the incline. On
Mm.
the incline, I am up there. And yeah, that's how I get to see it. So far, so good. Not a problem. Also, what I've discovered, and I don't know if this is giving away too many secrets, but as a little person, if I just walk up to an usher and say I'm disabled, they go, "We got you," and then they take you to the disabled seats. I don't know if you know this, buddy. The cripples have great seats.
Mm.
Like if you're in a wheelchair, oh my god, you got great seats. So thankfully, my disability is very visual. So no, I don't stroll up there and then you got a guy missing a leg and a guy with cerebral palsy, and then they look at me and I'm like ADD. It's like that's not how it goes. My thing is very visual. So it works that way. But yeah, if you have a disability, talk to the ushers, man. It's like those seat upgrades when you go to a game. They take someone in the 400 level. They're like, "We got you courtside." It's basically
Yeah.
that. It's basically that.
That happened to me. I had shoulder surgery and I had a little sling.
Yeah,
Instant upgrade, and then a pregnant lady tried to get in mid-show, and they wouldn't let her in. I felt terrible. I just act like I didn't see her.
yeah, exactly. Like, what are you doing, pregnant lady? You're just building life in your belly. What do you need to sit close for? You don't got to be close with the speakers. Your kid's going to be born deaf.
Yeah,
Now
it's
this guy,
dangerous.
yeah, now this guy over here wearing a shoulder sling, he's a real hero.
I'm a big music fan, so I always ask everybody when I have them on, who was your first concert and what kind of music are you into?
First concert was the band Pennywise,
Mm.
not the clown, the band. They do a popular song called "Bro Hymn," where it's like a chanting song. It's very popular at sporting events. And they're from SoCal, I believe, Long
Mm.
Beach. So yeah, they're like they're like a punk band, rock, and I was in high school, like freshman year, and I was like, I'm going to the mosh pit. And I went to the mosh pit, and when I got out, I was missing a shoe, I was missing my phone, and I was missing my car keys. So we had to call my dad, who was happy to be woken up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he had to drive down and get us and bring the spare key. So yeah, that was a memorable first concert experience. Needless to say, because now I've seen videos where like a guy in a wheelchair goes in the mosh pit and everyone's like, "Be cool, everybody!" Like sometimes they even lift up the chair and like run around with the chair like they're doing Hava Nagila at a bar mitzvah. Um, but for me, none of those luxuries were shown. It was just, hey, he's in the pit. He's just like everybody else. Elbow. So it was a lot of that. It was a very memorable first concert. My second concert was Janet Jackson. I was like, let's
Wow.
tone this
Yeah.
down.
That's some
Let's
range right there.
Yeah, not as much mosh pitting going on. No one's like throwing elbows to "It's all for you." Like that's not what's happening. But yeah, but in general, rock music. I'm big into that early aughts, late '90s
Mm.
punk era where Adam Devine makes the joke. It's like Newfound Glory, Atari's, like SR-71, like that kind of stuff. Yellow Card.
Mm.
Um, so like Adam Devine makes the joke. Every song started with a time and a location. So every song is like "Summer, the city, I saw you standing there with me." Like it's just all that nasally
Yeah.
Tom Long, all that. I love that shit. I love that shit. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, mostly it's that a lot of rock, a lot of I love bands like Shine Down.
Mm.
I love bands. A lot of blues rock has gotten into it. Most recently, Chris Stapleton. I'm on a
Oh
big
yeah.
Chris Stapleton kick. But yeah, there's a band out now, and a friend of mine in Miami introduced me to them, and they're awesome. They're called Dirty Honey. I
I've heard of them.
fucking love these guys. I don't know. And then this one, this one was introduced to me recently. There's an Italian metal band. First of all, think about that Italian metal band. You know, they're just performing in large mustaches. They can't, yeah, they can't use their hands to say the
Yeah.
lyrics because they got to play. They're just very expressive. But they're an Italian metal band. They're called Wind Rose. Every song they do is about being a dwarf.
Really?
They are not dwarfs,
That's kind of weird.
but every song they do, and not like song about dwarves like me. It's like Tolkien dwarves,
Mm.
like we mine, we forge, like that's the kind of dwarfism they're singing about. Which by the way makes me feel like less of a dwarf because I don't know how to forge. I've never
Yeah.
learned.
It's like
Um,
Dio, you're fighting dragons and all that stuff.
Yes. So that's the kind of dwarfism they sing about every song. If you come to one of my shows, I come out to one of their songs.
Okay.
It's called To Be a Dwarf. It's a fucking banger. I tell people about it, they laugh, and then they listen to it, they're like, "Holy shit, this rocks!" So yeah, a lot of that stuff. Lot of rock in this house.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a rock guy myself, and you mentioned the mosh pit losing a shoe. And one thing I've noticed with comedy, you had I think Jordan's on in your last special. And I've
Yeah.
also I've noticed a lot of comics they have very like pristine, clean shoes when they're on stage. Is that a thing in the stand-up world or?
It in LA it is. I don't know so much about New York because oftentimes they're walking on subways and like
Yeah.
going from club to club to club. But in LA, we just pull up in our cars, we get out, we walk on stage, and then we sit at the bar, and then we go home. Like it's not like we have pristine good shoes because we don't really work. Like you can't be you can't be in an office job where you're on your feet or a nurse and like be wearing Jordans. Like no, it's got to you're wearing your Hokas and you're wearing your Skechers step ups or whatever you got to do to stay comfortable. But like for us, it's like yeah, let's throw on Jordans and let's have a nice clean pair of Jordans. So yeah, there is definitely this thing in LA now where you go to the green room at the Comedy Store and you look around. I'm like, huh, everyone's got pretty good shoes. The two best, if you want to know who's top in the shoe game, at least in my opinion, are Chris Porter, always has a good pair. And I don't think anyone can beat Sarah Tiana. Sarah Tiana has the best shoe game in LA. I truly believe that. You go to any show, she's got a new pair of Jordans, a color combination, some custom whatever. There's some she'll be on stage, some guy will be painting a little thing on it. Like she's unbelievable.
Well, I'm gonna put this out. This is a challenge. They got to keep their game up.
Yeah. Well, now it's like now if people listen to this, they'll go see a Sarah Tiana or a Chris Porter show and they'll be expecting it. The fact that I'm even remotely mentioned in those groups is great because it's like they can walk into any shoe store and they'll have their size. I gotta fucking hunt for mine.
Yeah. How do you
Mine,
do it? eBay or what?
dude. I walk into shoe stores and I just go, bring me out everything that fits me. And then they bring me out like two pairs, and one of them has lights that flicker on and off. You know, so it's like no, I just take the one pair. That's how I shop for shoes. So
Gotcha.
that yes, but it takes a little bit more of an effort.
We're hitting on some interesting topics: music, shoes, and
Yeah,
I was curious, how'd you meet your wife? And you got to stay on good behavior, right? Because I saw she's a Taekwondo instructor.
she is. She is a fourth Dan black belt. And for those
Wow.
involved in the martial arts community, that's not just like you hung around for 3 years and they gave you a black belt because they felt sorry for you. That's like, oh no, you're legit. Yeah, more than those Steven Seagal like things where guys are like diving and rolling and he's like grabbing a wrist and anyway. But I met my wife. My wife is tall, by the way. Ha! All right, that I just like to say that. And also because when you say martial artists, they're like, yeah, but dwarf martial artists. It's like, no, 5'7" martial artist could kick a bottle off your head and you won't even know that she was there. Okay, that kind of shit. Um, I met her on an app that is called Field,
Okay.
FEELD, and if you Google it, it's for it's for alternative lifestyles. So basically, it's an app for people that are trying to have threesomes. That's true. And I was on there. I matched with two women, and we are all going to go on a date. And one of the women didn't show up on the date, and then the other woman did, and we had a pretty good time. And we kept going on dates, and now we've been married for 7 years, and
Wow.
we got a 5-year-old together. It's pretty crazy.
Well, that's just proof it's a numbers game.
Dude, absolutely. So one thing I'm doing right now in my show, because I did a show recently with this comic named Ryan Niemiller, and if you know who he is, he was on America's Got Talent.
Mm.
He's saved in my phone as lobster hands, and I showed him this, and he knows, but he basically has like three fingers on one hand and then one finger on the other,
Oh, wow.
and kind of the arms are underdeveloped. So yeah, so that's his thing. And we were on a show together, and we're both married, and we both have kids. So I went on stage after him, and I was like, hey, the lobster guy and the midget are married with kids. So if you're not dating, if you're not married, if you can't find anyone, it's fucking you. Okay, like it's you. Don't stop blaming the women. Stop being like these bitches nowadays. It's like no, they're out there. All right, you just got to find them. Stop double tapping on Instagram hoes and go out there and find yourself a real woman. So that's my new like thing right now where I'm scolding the audience.
This is our plug for Field.
Yeah. I talk about them on stage every night, and I'm not a brand ambassador. They don't pay me. They absolutely should. I'm a success story
Yep.
so far. But yeah. So, and to answer an earlier question, yeah, I my wife wins all the arguments. A woman, B martial arts instructor. There one time though she kind of giggled and was like, "Why is it that I win all the arguments?" And I looked at her, I said, "Because if I win, I lose half my shit."
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
that's the
California.
difference. Yeah, you win, and you just get to carry on and live in a house that I pay the mortgage for.
Yep.
I win, and now I'm looking for an apartment.
Well, speaking of paying the bills, your latest special called Starfish. So I've always heard comics kind of say like, and is this true with you? Like when they come out with an hour, are they kind of scared? Like, will I be able to put out another one? It's almost like
Yeah.
a, is
Oh
that a
yeah.
thing?
That's the most. So I thought the scariest part about being a comedian is just going on stage in general, because like how egotistical do you have to be to walk up on a stage there's a room full of people and you're like, hey, you all need to shut up and just I'm the only one that gets to talk. Like that's pretty egotistical. So most comedians have egos. But the scariest part is not going on stage. The scariest part is once you get to a level where you're putting out specials, there's a demand for specials, and then you put it out there, and now it's like, okay, it's out there. Now do it again.
Yeah.
That's the scariest part when you're sitting there at the bottom of the hill and you're looking up at the top of the mountain, which is a completed special, knowing that it's like, wow, I got to start this climb all over again. And thankfully, I did it rather quickly. Being a going through COVID and having a lot of time, and being a dad offered a lot of material. So I wrote the new hour pretty quick after Starfish. But now it's like we're getting ready to put this hour together, and now it's like, oh fuck, now I got to do it again.
Yeah.
So at some point, like I heard Jeselnik, Anthony Jeselnik on a podcast say that he takes like a year to write, a year to tour in the United States. Then he puts out a special, then he does a year to tour internationally. Then he
Mm.
scraps it and then does another year to write the next one. And I'm like, that sounds nice. I don't do that. But everyone's got their own process, whatever. But yeah, that's the scariest thing is once you put everything out there on a special. And it's weird because you'll get done with a show. I'll do a meet and greet. People be like, "Oh, you didn't tell the Bud Light joke from Starfish." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, because it's old. It's
Yeah.
from Starfish. You know the punchline." But some people want to hear the old stuff, and some people want to hear just new shit. Um, you can't really make everybody happy. You can just kind of make yourself happy. I can't write a new hour instantly. People will tell me, they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna see you in 2 months. Are you gonna have a new hour by then?" No,
Yeah.
no. I can't. It's. I'm not gonna have a new hour by then. Like I might have a new 5-10 minutes, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
have a new hour. So yeah, that's kind of it's interesting how comedy works like that. Like Bon Jovi can't go on stage without playing "Living on a Prayer," but if I go on and do like my second album, like then everyone's gonna be like, "The fuck."
Yeah.
We've already heard all that. Like, because now bands are doing, like, I think Offspring just toured like Ixnay on the Hombre and played like the whole album. Can you imagine if comedians, like, if Chris Rock just went, "Hey, I'm doing bigger and blacker, just that hour. I'm doing it again. So if you missed it, here it is again.
Yeah.
All the old shit." It'd be really interesting to see if that would sell. Like if Dave Chappelle was like, "Hey, remember Killing Him Softly? That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just that. Not improvising at all. Just doing that, word for word." Like I'd be curious if that could ever work.
Well, it's kind of interesting that you said that because it relates to my next question in terms of
Sure.
like, has comedy ever been as big as it is now? Especially with social media, there's so many specials now coming. I think people just
Yeah.
expect it, right? And it's hard to
Yeah.
keep up.
We are in a boom. So the 90s were a low, an insane low. The aughts, we all talked about the boom from the 80s. And then, but now we're in the 20, I guess we're in the 20s. It sounds weird saying that because I
Yeah.
think of 20s, I think of F. Scott Fitzgerald and people wearing flappers. But yeah, we're in and now I don't see a time where comedy's ever been bigger because it used to be like there was one kind of it comic that like was selling out the theaters, possibly the stadiums. Now I can name five without even thinking that are selling out stadiums. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
five comedians. You can name comedians of almost every race that are
Yeah.
selling out arenas. Like, you want to do like Russell Peters is selling out arenas. He's Canadian and Indian. Jimmy O Yang just started doing arenas,
Wow.
and he's Chinese. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
saw him
Like,
at the Improv recently.
yeah, you got between the women that are doing it, between like your Whitney Cummings, your Ali Wong, your Eliza Schlesingers, Taylor Tomlinsons,
Yeah.
and now I'm sure after the Golden
Yeah.
Globes, fucking Nikki Glazer, hello, new queen in town. So like there's so many people that are doing it, and then those are just arenas. That's arenas. That's not even
Yeah.
talking about all the comics that are just doing theaters, and that's not even talking about all the comics that are selling out clubs. Like adding shows and selling them out. So it's an amazing time for comedy. It used to be there were gatekeepers that could tell you, "Hey, you're not famous until we tell you you're famous, or we put you on the Tonight Show,
Yeah.
or you get a sitcom, or whatever." Now there's no gatekeepers, dude. I have friends that are just getting into comedy, and they have bits that have been viewed over 1 million times on social media because something just hit, something just
Yeah.
struck right, and now it blew up. So it's an amazing time for comedy right now. I think a lot of it, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I think a lot of it had to do with COVID, and we were all pent up for so long. Now we just all want to get out there. And also, I'm not a comedian that likes to talk about cancel culture. I
Mm.
think cancel culture in general is a made up thing,
Mm.
because if I can name you four comedians that have been canceled, it's
Yeah.
like Louis C.K., Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle. Like, yeah, they've all been canceled and they're all playing arenas. So
Yep.
so so,
They
so
all
what's
come back.
what's canceled really? So I don't think that there actually is cancel culture, but I think the fact that there are loud voices rallying against certain types of stand up and comedians and people getting overly offended. I think whenever you have one side, it's yin yang. You'll always have the other. And the more people come out and be like, he said Mexican, it's Latino. He said Latino, it's Latinx. He said they, it's supposed to be Z or Zer. Like the more you have those voices, the more you're gonna have the people that are like, fuck that. I want to go laugh. And so a lot of those people are out right now, and a lot of those people are laughing at stuff because in a lot of other art forms, you're not getting the honesty that is stand-up comedy. Like we saw recently, and this is a minor example, but this is kind of what it is. Shane Gillis was on College Game Day and made fun of Nick Saban to his face on College Game Day. He was wearing a stupid hat and he called him Alabama Jones. Are you kidding me? Like that's something. And if Saban gets mad, there's nothing he can do. There's nothing Saban could do to Shane Gillis. By the way, another comedian that's been canceled that's now selling out arenas. So
Yeah.
that's what I feel about cancel culture. But I love the fact that there's no gatekeepers. That funny wins, and if you're funny, you'll work. And a few of us have been able to get to those worlds of theaters, and an even smaller group has been able to get to the arenas. I mean, holy crap! I don't know if you saw that list just came out, the top 10 moneymaker tours of the last year. It's
No, I didn't
nuts.
see it.
It's nuts. It's like I thought I had a good year. Holy shit! It's a lot of there's a lot of comedians out there that are making a fuck ton of money.
Wow.
So it's great, and as long as people are entertained by it, awesome. And I would encourage people to go see stand-up comedy because now, like, if you look at comedy movies, it used to be there's always some good comedy movies that would come out every year. In terms of R-rated comedies, I mean, I know I'm missing some, but like Bridesmaids, The Hangover, like
There's not
what
much out there anymore.
what has it been? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's some funny shows, there's some great
Mm.
TV shows, but in terms of movies, we're not getting comedy movies like we used to, and so people still want they still want it, they still want to laugh. So yeah, they come out and see stand up comedy, and even a mediocre stand up comedy show, you'll laugh more than you will in a comedy movie because
Yeah.
stand up comedy, it's every 30 seconds, every 30 to 45 seconds, you have to have a laugh. You'll be lucky if you have 8 hard laughs during a movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, stand-up comedy is awesome, and I'm really glad that people are back out watching it.
Well, welcome back to the Jim on Base show. If you're listening now, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. The Wi-Fi got unplugged, so thank you for that. And Brad, we're back, so thanks for coming back on.
Yeah, and it is kind of weird because of the way the schedule's worked out. I'm back on, and the world completely changed. So
Yes.
at least where I am out here in Los Angeles. So also just letting everyone know I am okay. House is okay. We are okay. So that's out of the way. Please find a good, legit, wonderful charity to donate to and try to help people out here out. There's a misconception that everyone who got their house burned down is all movie stars and multimillionaires, and that is not the case. There's some good, wonderful, quote unquote, common people that lost a lot of stuff. So if you can donate what you can, and that I'm sure that would be greatly appreciated. Now for the public service announcement is out of it now. Let's get this done before someone else cuts a Wi-Fi cord, and then we have to do this again after Inauguration Day, and there's some crazy other news story that's happened that we have to then address as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't need any more conspiracy theorists out there thinking, oh, when every time Jim on Base does an episode, the world ends.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. We don't want to get in the Alex Jones rotation.
Yeah.
It's all good, all good.
Well, you had a birthday too. So what number was it? And I saw a cool birthday post. Adam Ray, friend of the show, posted a picture of you and him with Shaq. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I turned 41, which is 72 in dwarf. Kidding. I'm not dying yet. Adam was great. He posted a photo of me, him, and Shaq, which was taken on one of the greatest weekends of my life. Adam and I played in the Celebrity All-Star game. It's like 8 years ago when the game was in Charlotte, and we got to go to All-Star Weekend with this dunk competition and watch all it. We had better seats than Dabo Sweeney, and this is in Carolina. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we were. And it was great. And we got to meet Charles and Shaq and the whole crew. Although my favorite person that I met that whole weekend, rest in power, was Dikembe Mutombo. Met him, and just a delightful person. I felt bad because I'm 4'4", and these 7-footers are bending over to talk to him. Like, stay up. I'll yell. Like, don't. I don't want to be like, oh, Shaq broke his back today. Why? Because he wanted to get a selfie with Brad Williams. Like, and this is before, like, because Adam and I both, our profiles have been raised in terms of people knowing who we are. Like, now we're both selling out theaters and doing great things. Now I feel like we got to go back into the Celebrity All-Star game, because before, when we got it, everyone was like, who are these assholes? So I'm very happy that that you posted that, and for all the birthday messages. Got to go to Legoland with got to take a kid. The kid has the same birthday as me. Wow. So that's kind of cool. She turned 5, and yeah, it was just a great weekend.
So you're probably stepping on little landmines in the house, right? Legos and yelling out.
Yeah. It's funny because all over Legoland, it's a great park, great hotel. The whole thing is really, if you have kids, couldn't be better. Could not recommend enough. But they have this like pit of Legos when you're checking into the hotel, and then you just kind of put your kid in, and they can build stuff. But this one parent put their kid into this pit without wearing shoes. Like the kid was just in socks, and then put the kid in the pit, and the kid starts crying because it's kids standing on fucking Legos. And then the parents just sitting there like, I don't understand why you're not having fun. It's like, because you put them in a damn torture device. It's just a pit of Legos without shoes on. That's why your kid's crying. Jeez. So, but overall, it's been great, and she had a great time. And now she likes Lego the same way I like Lego. I like once it's built. I don't like building it. I like, hey, build the thing, and I'll play with it, and I'll look at it, and I'll do all that. Thankfully, my wife, she likes to build it and doesn't like to play with it, so we're good there. That's why we're a perfect match.
Well, it sounds like you had a good birthday.
Yeah,
And,
man.
well, one thing I was curious about too was I asked you about it. Now I got to re-ask the question.
Sure.
I had a friend of yours, the great Greg Fitzsimmons, on,
It's
and yeah, Fitzdog. And I said, when you have multiple shows, or maybe just after a show, what do you like to do in the green room? And Greg said he likes to do a lot of cocaine. So what do you like to do?
Well, I'm a black tar heroin guy, so it's a little different. When you know what? When I have downtime, I have a great opening act. His name is JB Ball. He's fantastic. His special is called "It's My Privilege." It's on YouTube. You all should watch it. It's wonderful. JB is one of the best hangs ever. So I just like hanging back with him. We finally get a chance to talk shop and just relax. Sometimes we play a little Rocket League. We play a little video games. It's weird. Like I thought I'd be famous and it would be cocaine and hookers, and it's neither of those things, unless we're playing Grand Theft Auto, and then it is cocaine and hookers.
Yeah.
So that's when that comes into play. But really, I try to keep it low key. I'm really high energy on stage. So if I'm in between shows or even after shows, I like to keep it low key. Nothing better to me than doing a show and then going out to a Waffle House and then just having a 3-hour, I don't know what you call that meal, a 3-hour garbage meal, and just make yourself, shorten your lifespan by a few months.
Or yeah, if you're gonna get tired, get that food coma, then you get the heroin nod, so it all works out.
Yeah. Let's do that, dude. I can't even like do Ozempic. They're like, okay, this is amazing weight loss drug, and all you gotta do is stab yourself and do a little needle thing. And I'm like, nope, not doing it. If I have to stab myself, I'm not doing Ozempic. I'm afraid that I'm gonna pop something. No, not doing it.
Yeah. Well, we've mentioned Shaq. We talked a little sports in the beginning of the episode, so
Yeah.
made me wonder. Kind of reminded me of sports. As a comedian, are you able to watch other comics acts, or is it kind of like retired athletes? Like they have a hard time watching because they're analyzing everything.
No, I mean, but that's why I love watching other comics. So like, I still love comedy. I really do. I love it. I love watching other comedians. I watched Tom Papa last night
Mm.
at the Comedy Store. I haven't seen his stuff in a while. Of course, if ever like Burr is dropping into the Comedy
Mm.
Store, I will absolutely go watch him. Yeah, I love watching other comedians. I just watched Nate Bargatze's new
Mm.
special. He had an amazing joke. I'll butcher it, but he pretty much said, he goes, I don't know anything about history because when I watch movies about history, I don't know how it's going to end. And I love that. I just love that concept. Like he was like, I watched Pearl Harbor. I was just as surprised as they were. It's great. And so, and I like knowing what people are doing. And I kind of like selfishly, I like to compare. I know comparison is the thief of joy, and you shouldn't compare. But I like to see, all right, well, how are they doing it? I know how my crowds are reacting to my shows.
Mm.
How are other comedians' crowds reacting to them? Do I still feel that energy? Do I still feel that they're in it as much as my crowds are? So yeah, I really enjoy watching other comedians, especially because they'll just do things and I go, oh my God, I never thought of it that way, or what a great perspective. And sometimes you'll watch a bit and the comedian will be setting up the joke, and in your head you're like, oh, they're gonna go this way with this, and then they go a completely different direction and surprise you, but then you go, oh, so if they didn't go that direction, I can go that direction. All
Mm.
right, cool. And then it's like stuff can inspire you, stuff about life, like um watching Nate's special for instance. He talks a lot about how his wife is so much smarter than him, and I'm in the same boat, and it made me remember that I think, and I'm starting to write this bit now, so I'm literally hashing it out with you
There
as
we
I'm
go.
doing this right now. I think my wife, I've never won an argument with my wife, and I don't think it's because she's a better arguer than me. It's because once I was so wrong that I don't think she trusts anything I say ever. So like, and that's when. So there's an Italian meat that you put on sandwiches, right? It's called prosciutto. Everyone knows it's called prosciutto, except me. And we were on an early date. We were out getting sandwiches, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get the one with promiscuto on it." That's how I thought you pronounced that word for like 32 years of my life. Promiscuto. My wife's like, "The fuck you talking about?" I'm like, "The meat, it's thin. It's promiscuto. You wrap it around cheese sometimes, or maybe a pig. It's amazing." She's like, "Prosciutto." I'm like, "That's not how that's pronounced. That's insane. It's pronounced promiscuto, like a meat that's out there being a slut and fucking other meats." So yeah, based on that, I remember that watching Nate's special, and I was like, "Oh, I think I might be able to do something with that." So I love watching other movies.
That reminds me because I know what a taqueria is, but whenever I'd see the word in my
Yeah,
mind, I would always pronounce it taqueria. And I was probably about 25 until I realized I'm a complete idiot.
dude. That I wish someone could warn us, like, "Hey, there's gonna be a word," because almost everyone that I've talked to about this will come up to me and be like, "Oh, for me it was this word or this thing." Like we all have a thing that we thought was a certain way, and then we get out into the public and we talk to actual human beings, and they just look at us like we're fucking insane.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like you have to realize, it's like, oh, we have a street here in LA called Sepulveda. Everyone knows it's Sepulveda. My wife moved here from San Francisco. She's never been to LA when she moved here. And then she would say Sepulveda. And everyone would look at her like she was insane. She's like, yeah, you just go down Sepulveda when there's too much traffic on the 405. You know how it's done. Everyone just look at her like she's nuts. She's like, I don't know. I read it. That's how it was pronounced in my head. And that's what happened. I think a lot of people have those words.
Yeah, I think we all relate to that. And made me wonder when you mentioned going to the comedy store the other night. What
Mm.
is your home club? Because I like going to the comedy store, the improv, And it's kind of a two-part question. Do you prefer being on in like a big theater, or do you like being on like in the Comedy Store, like in the
Oh
original
man.
room?
Comedy Store is my home club. It's so fun fact about the Comedy Store, or at least for me. This is like back before I even met my wife. There's this place in Hollywood called Soho House. It's like this private club, bar, restaurant,
I've
meeting
been to the one in New
area.
York.
Okay, so you know what it is. Yeah. So and they're all over the world, really.
Mm.
And it especially in LA, it has a reputation where if you go there, you're going to see a lot of amazing looking people. There's a lot of hot people just all over this place. And if you're a dude or a woman or whatever, it's just like it's a good place to meet up if you want to impress someone or take someone home that night. Let's just put it that way. And you have to be a member. I was trying to become a member forever because and they wouldn't let me in because I don't have tits. Uh, and I put in my request to be a member, and then years later, like 3 years later, they got back to me and they said, "Hey, we finally accepted your request." And I was about to say, "Okay, great," and I could be a part of this thing. And then I stopped and realized, wait a minute, I'm going to pay money every month to go to a bar, restaurant when I'm literally part of the greatest club in the
Mm.
world. The greatest, I don't want to call it fraternity because there's so many great, funny women, but the greatest club. I can go to the best clubhouse in the world, and my friends are literally the funniest people on the planet. So why wouldn't I just do that? And by the way, every time I go to the Comedy Store, I get paid. So it's like I get paid money to go to this place.
Car
Where,
gets valeted.
yeah, my car gets valeted for me for free. Like it's like why wouldn't I just go there? I drink for free. Like why wouldn't I just go there? So yeah, that's what the Comedy Store is. It's the greatest clubhouse in the world, and I love going there. And then to answer the second part of your question, do I like bigger rooms, smaller rooms? They're both. It's both, man. I hate doing the both sides answer, but I love doing a theater. The energy in the room is just so awesome. You can't recreate it at a club. You really get moving, you get motivated, you get a great rhythm going. But then here's the true answer. When I have my act good, take me to a theater. Let's knock out of the ballpark. Let's hit home runs. When I'm working on the act, take me to the club.
Mm.
Put me in the Comedy Store. I forgot who coined this phrase, but someone called the Comedy Store the smelly gym, and it is because we're all going there to work out. We're all going there to try stuff. I was trying a new bit last night, so not the promiscuity bit. I'm still working on that, but yeah, like trying a new bit last night. So yeah, when I'm working stuff out, Comedy Store. When I've got it, when I've got my show, let's go. Let's go to the theater.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. Well,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of like going out working on material, it made me think. I like asking comedians about their first open mic, but for you,
Yeah.
I was thinking you're nervous most likely. You want things to be as perfect as they can be. So I was thinking like, could even like the height of the mic stand get you nervous before you go out as a new
uh,
comedian?
yeah, thankfully, as a little person my whole life, I didn't decide to do this at age 20 for the show, for the money and the fame. No, the mic stand thing never really scared me. The
Mm.
thing about going to and doing your first open mic, my first open mic was at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, which looking back on was not a good idea. I should have done a shittier open mic rather than go to like the best open mic. It's my first time on stage because the whole phrase like you only have one chance to make a good first impression,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's your first time, you're probably gonna suck. So you don't want to get seen at a place where you might actually get seen and then suck. So, but I did it. Things turned out okay, so it's fine. But I remember showing up, and at that point, you had to sign up for open mic at like 1 o'clock, and then the show wasn't until 5. So you had to be in LA and Hollywood for like 4 or 5 hours. I didn't live there, so I just had to find like a restaurant or whatever, just a park, hang out. So I remember being in line to sign up, and this guy looks at me and he goes, "Hey, I haven't seen you before. Is this your first time?" And I go, "Yeah, it's my first time ever doing stand up." He goes, "Cool. Hang with me, do whatever, just do what I do. You'll be fine. I've been doing this open mic for 12 years." And in my head, I go, I don't want to be doing this open mic for 12 years. I want to be out of here. Like the whole goal is to not do open mics. So to move beyond it. So
Mm-hmm.
I did it. I did everything opposite of him, and I think that's the secret to my success.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
Well, it has worked out. Obviously, you just had your tour kind of end. I know you're gearing up for another round, right? But you went to
yeah.
9 countries and 3 continents, I think.
Yeah, 44 weeks, 104 cities, 9 countries, 3 continents. 2024 was a year. It was a crazy year. 2025, I'm still touring. I'm taking the first 3 months off, but about mid-March, I start going back into it. And but it's not going to be what last year was. Last year was every week,
Mm-hmm.
every week. This year it's a week on, week off, week on, week off, and I'm really excited about that. It's a spend some time with my family. I've heard they are lovely people. I will find that out this year, and really excited for more time off, but still going out and still doing shows. And also with the weeks off, it'll allow me to go to the comedy store
Mm-hmm.
or wherever I'm going and write new stuff. So really excited for this upcoming year. The new tour is called the Growth Spurt Tour. I'm looking at my calendar. It's right behind the screen here. I'm booked until New Year's Eve of
Wow.
2025. So I'm all the way booked. So head to bradwilliamscomedy.com and you could get tickets for when I'm at a city near you.
Yeah, I saw you just did a New Year's Eve show at the Paramount in Denver. I saw Lenny Kravitz there back in the day.
No kidding. So Lenny,
Yeah.
I'm playing the same venue as Lenny Kravitz. That's nuts. Yes, did that. That was a great show. Great way to end the year. I love Denver. And then the next day, I got to go to the Nuggets game and then shoot like the before the game free throw or whatever. I missed it. I was nailing them in warmups, man. I was nailing them, and then I got out and hey, man, pressure got to me. I hit the rim though. I did not airball.
There
That
you
was
go.
the goal. I'm like, do not airball this.
And that
Get
was
it
a
at the
dunk
rim.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, but yeah, and they worked me that game. I was on a TV. They did a TV segment. I banged a big drum. I fired at the crowd at some other point. And then I did the after show. So it was nuts, but it was a lot of fun. That's one of the coolest parts about this whole job in terms of the level of fame is that I can go to sporting events. Sometimes the tickets are comped and like people want me to do fun stuff at the sporting event. I'm like, great, put me up on the big screen. I'll dance. I'll fire the crowd up. I'll do whatever I got to do.
Well, last show question I had. You also played a really cool show. I imagine this was surreal at the Chicago Theater with Adam Ray and some others, right? So that must have been pretty fun.
Yeah. So I was doing my own show at the Chicago Theater. It's an iconic theater. Like whenever you see a postcard of Chicago, normally the Chicago Theater is one of the pictures on the postcard, which is crazy. It's a beautiful theater. And I was doing my own solo show on the 28th of December. And then I flew in the night before, because I want to make sure I get there on time.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Rife was there the night before.
Oh yeah.
And Adam Ray opened up for Matt. And I just texted him and was like, hey, I'm in town. Can I hop on? And they're like, yeah, for sure. So I got to come and hang out. And it's kind of like what I said earlier, where I like to watch other comedians. I got to see, okay, what's a Matt Rife audience
Mm.
as compared to my audience, and what's his crowd. And now, just to be clear, I'm not on the same level as Matt Rife in terms of selling tickets right now because I did one show at the Chicago Theater. He did 8 shows.
Wow.
So he's doing okay. But it was nice to hang out with Matt and see his operation and see how it works. One thing that Matt and I have in common is Matt wanted Adam Ray to open up for him. Adam Ray's headliner, so Matt wants the show to be the best possible show. Some headliners want their opening acts to suck because they want to look better. Matt and I share the same philosophy in that we do not want that. I want, like I said, JB Ball is my opening act. He's a great comic. Chris Porter, who's a headliner, also opened up for me at that Chicago Theater show. I try to make my shows good from start to finish. People text me sometimes like, okay, the show's at 8, but what time do you go on? I'm like, no, get there at fucking 8. See the show. See, there's a flow to these things. You want to see these opening acts. They're amazing. And then my philosophy is if I can't follow the opening act, I shouldn't be the headliner. So yeah, put the best possible opening acts before me, and I'll go on after them. So yeah, Matt Rife has the same philosophy. He had great opening acts. He had me doing a guest spot, and then he had Adam Ray. So it's like, yeah, if you're the headliner, you're the headliner. Go prove it.
Or if they're better, then you could just kill them. Get rid of them.
I can make I can make a couple phone calls,
Yeah.
especially if I'm in a city like Chicago. I'm sure there's a lot of guys with cars with large trunks that I could, we could, hey, go fishing, like whatever. But yeah, Chicago was amazing, and my two favorite shows of last year, with all due respect to any other show that I did, was the Chicago Theater was really special, and the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, which is the home of country music. Literally everyone's performed there. That was the other show that was like, all right, these two are my
Yeah.
favorites. Great.
Historic venues there. And last question here I got to ask you about, since I'm a Bay Area person, and it's cool that
Okay.
your wife's from the Bay Area. I know
Yeah.
you've talked about it in the past. I know that you met Robin Williams, but I'm just
Yep.
curious. You had mentioned how it's kind of surreal when he's coming up to you and someone you've probably seen on the screen. It like knows
Mm-hmm.
who you are. So was
No.
it pretty neat to see someone like him excited about you?
I don't know how to put that into words, like what that felt like. So the story is I did a small theater years ago in Mill Valley, where he used to live, called Throckmorton Theater. It holds like 200 people. So when I say theater, it's like art house style theater.
Mm.
And I did a show, and he was in the audience because he lived there. He used to stop by. And when I got done with my set, he burst into the green room as a ball of energy and just goes, "Oh my God, Mr. Williams, you're like Prozac with a head." And it's the best compliment I've ever received in my life. If they put that on my tombstone, I'm happy with that. I'm cool. Prozac with a head. So yeah, and that was a really special moment. And then Robin invited me to his show. That was the next night at the same theater, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go." And I went, and he got me 2 tickets. And this is Mill Valley, where if you're familiar with the Bay Area, there's some money up there.
Yeah, I'm in
There's
the Bay Area.
Yeah, there's some money like that. Mill Valley is where a lot of the tech millionaires and a couple billionaires live. So there are these 2 seats saved in the front row in Mill Valley, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck is that?" And then me and my opening act come walking up, and we just sit down. Everyone's like, "Who the fuck is that person?" But got to see Robin, got to see him do his thing, and it was unbelievable. He's a huge influence and a big fan. To give you an idea, I'm in my office right now. If you look, oh, don't freeze on me. Okay, there you go. If you look there,
Oh, nice.
that's in my office. For the audio audience, there's one painting of Robin and some of his iconic roles, and then there's a signed Aladdin poster.
Very cool.
From Robin. Wow. It says, "Your wish is my command." And that's signed in my office. So you talk about things that, I mean, kind of apropos to say this right now, but you talk about things that you would save in a fire. The Aladdin poster signed by Robin is definitely one of them.
Wow, that's awesome. Great memories there.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad, I got to say, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for giving me another chance with the whole Wi-Fi issue.
Of course.
It's been awesome to have you on, and I know you're going to start your tour up, like you said, all next year, and I really hope to see you. I know you're coming close to the Bay Area, so I'm looking forward to seeing you.
I'll be in San Jose, and I know it's weird because when I go to, if you're in the Bay Area, I say I'll be in San Jose. It's like when the San Francisco 49ers are like, "We're the San Francisco 49ers." Like, you play in Santa Clara. That is not even close. Like, because you watch a Niner game, and they're like, "And here are sweeping shots of the Bay and the Golden Gate Bridge and Alcatraz and all that." You're like, they're nowhere near that. They're
an hour away.
Yeah, an hour away, 2 hours in traffic. So I don't know what the hell that is. So yeah, I know San Jose is still the Bay Area, but it's definitely not like San Francisco proper. But I'm coming to San Jose. I'm actually gonna. By the time this airs, yeah, okay. Once this airs, I will have just gotten back from San Francisco. I'm gonna be on the Dr. Phil show at the Masonic, which is gonna be on whenever this is, January this Friday. I think that's the 16th. I don't know, but I will have just come back from there. So yeah, I love the Bay Area. I'll always have love for the Bay Area. Met my wife in the Bay Area, so it's always a good place to be, my friend.
I'm bummed because we knocked this out. I go to Columbia tomorrow. Otherwise, I would have totally been at the Masonic on Friday. I didn't even
Oh
get to be
man,
there. You and Adam
yeah,
Ray.
yeah, dude, we've been great. You're going to Columbia, the country?
Yeah, it's a bachelor party, so we'll see if I survive. I might get
A
kidnapped or something. So.
bachelor party in Columbia.
Yeah,
You guys know Vegas is right there. It's there.
there might
But
be some
you're
missing persons on this one. We'll see.
all right. Well, have
Yeah.
fun in Colombia. Take down your information. I'll give you the same advice I was given when I got my visa to go to Brazil. Fake wallet, fake phone. Have a fake wallet and a fake phone on you. Enjoy.
Awesome. Well, Brad, this was a lot of fun, and I'll see you somewhere down the line in person.
Sounds great, my friend. Thank you.